Alright, so I have my two Sega systems that I bought here. Two of the Sega systems that I bought. One, the 32X and the Genesis together, as unboxed in my previous video. And the second one, which has some of the cables in the way right now, the Genesis and Sega CD that I also unboxed in the previous video. But I'll move the cable around just to get a view on the camera here if I can. Let's see. This is the cable that we're having trouble with. I got it. Okay, so the Sega CD that we just unboxed in our previous video with the Genesis. So, having said that, I have a Mega EverDrive. I guess it's tough to pronounce that. I do have a memory card, but I don't want to bother going into the computer and putting that data on this card yet, because I'm sure it'll work just fine on the Genesis systems themselves. I also have a CD by Pearl Jam that I could use to test my Sega CD out with. There won't be any audio. Don't worry. When that CD is played, when it comes time to actually press the play button, I will shut off the audio, and this is all just a test to make sure everything works. So there's two stickers on the Sega CD and Sega Genesis system. They're sort of labeled like maybe like they were used at a campus or something. Strange. And you'll see a lot of eBay items like that show up from they were put on display previously at a restaurant or an entertainment area, or maybe even at a college campus. But okay, without further ado, the first system that's plugged in is the Sega CD and Genesis, and we're going to try the cartridge first. Standalone cartridge, no Sega CD. Okay, so it fits all right. And I think what we'll do is we can always just move the pod around to see what we want to see. So we can see the cartridge there and the system. And then we can also see the TV over here. So you can also see my new guitar that I bought back there, leaning against the door. Anyway, maybe if I put this camera behind me, I don't want the cables to get mixed up because they're from two different sellers, and if I have to return this stuff, it's going to be very difficult to make sure I have all the items. Okay, so it's Mega EverDrive. Mega EGA is like, that's what you want. That's what I wanted to say, because it sounds like Mega EGA, Mega EverDrive. Here we go. Oh, boots right up. SD card not found. So there's a red LED. It's funny, I don't remember my Sega having a red LED. Okay. So it works. It says, this is Mega EverDrive, and it's working on this new Sega system that I just bought. However, it says SD card not found. One thing I need to test out, I have to grab a controller because I have to see if it's going to do the job. Alright, so I've got a controller here. And you only need one controller. Now, assuming the controller works. Well, it's not letting me select anything. Okay. Maybe the Sega CD will allow me to do something here. Because obviously there's no dash All it says is no SD card not found. But we can reboot it again. Oh, it looks like there's no issues with the system. It's pretty decent. Alright. So the only thing is, I guess it worked because I have the AV cable. I have the AV cable plugged into. Okay. You know what? I have the AV cable directly from the Genesis. The CD, I believe. Okay, so maybe these are additional outputs. I've never owned a SEGA CD before, as you can tell. But if I don't have a cartridge in, is there a dashboard? Okay. Started right up. It says checking disk, but there is no disk. Okay. Well, close the CD door. It's spinning. There you go. It doesn't really have a, it doesn't actually have a window where you can see something. It says press start. Okay, so the controls are working. So you can see the CD. Just want to make sure the volume is down because we don't want to have an issue where we end up playing a song on YouTube, and we don't want any copyright stuff on this video. It's gonna mess up my whole video that I just made. Okay, so it's a 3-track CD. This is about the most of the testing I could do. So it's funny, I don't remember there being a red LED on Genesis. So somebody could have done something to this. They could have repaired it. And having said that, all the buttons appear to work. The D-pad is working. This one has a right shoulder button. It's funny, I don't remember this controller having that. So I can't test out all the buttons, but A, B, C, start, and everything else is working. Alright, so the actual Genesis SEGA CD works. Now the only thing left, we have to make the Genesis CD 32X work. So one option is to swap the Genesis, keep that one, or keep this one. It doesn't have a year here, but this one was made in China. I think what I'll do is, rather than take this thing apart and everything, I'll try the existing Genesis with this 32X. But that means I have to hook it up. And there's some cables here that are going to be problematic. And it looks like this still has the spacer here for the SEGA CD, which is interesting. So, I mean, I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to just sell one standalone on eBay. Because, I mean, since I have 2 Genesis consoles, I'll keep the better one, maybe the newer one. This 32X has a, I'm going to try to do this without the metal splitter. Do I really need this metal splitter? It's funny, I remember there being 2 metal splitters. Well, I don't have the first idea of what to do with the splitter. I really don't. I'll have to find a template on Google or something and see if it works without that. Anyway, so I get an RF adapter here too. I got a plug for the 32X. Okay, and I got this cable here. This is the RF cable. Okay. There's this cable I was talking about. And it's got an AV out and an AV in. Well, this is very confusing. The reason why, well, I'm first trying to line up these holes here. And there's also a plug. So are there really 3 plugs? That's insane. So this was considered a huge system back in the day. It's unfortunate that everything has to have its own power, its own separate power. I suppose we can plug it in already. Just plug it in this way. I really hope I don't need that metal thing, because otherwise I'm going to have to Google to find some answers. The controller is already plugged in, which is good. So we now have our SEGA 32X console, which can be seen this way right here. There you go. So SEGA 32X. And we're now 12 minutes into this video. So anyway, power to the 32X. Alright. I also have to disconnect. Oh, wait, okay. So I have to plug in the AV. So there's a lot of cables here. I have to plug in this AV cable. Wow, this is really difficult. I'm on the last cable. You need to always look at the arrow though, make sure the arrow is lined up, because otherwise you'll never get it. You'll just bend the pins. All right. So I do have to plug in the 32X, and then we're ready to test. Okay. All right. So, me see if I can get this plug here. Well, as you can see, there's a little bit of an issue here because two of the plugs take up an entire surge protector. Now, I could just put this into a standalone plug temporarily just to test it out. But, I mean, back in the 90s, this is a lot of power for today. If you were to have 3 power bricks like this, it's a little bit crazy. All right, so we've got it. That was pretty difficult. Now, to turn this TV back on, and I have a DVD in here. I don't want it to play. You don't want that DVD to play. And then going into AV mode. To go into AV mode on this TV, you go channel up, channel up, aux. Okay, aux. So last time we tested the Pearl Jam CD just to make sure it would work. So now we don't have to do that again. All we have to test is the EverDrive one more time. Okay. The Genesis is on, but there's no video. Huh. Maybe I got it connected wrong. In other words, perhaps no, it doesn't look like it. It looks like maybe this cable wasn't in all the way. Let me try again. We got an arrow here. All right, it's in there. Everyone's in there. Everything's in there. Oh, what was that? The light is on. Okay. So that means that 32X is booting. Why am I not getting any audio video out of the 32X? Okay, the only reason it could be that the unit is defective and has no video. I mean, I had a good idea this was going to happen. AV out, AV in, AV out. Okay, so the AV out goes to the TV. This is going into the 32X, and now this AV out is going into the TV. So this should be working. Well, the 32X, it looks like it's a dud. It powers on the EverDrive, but there's no video. At least the SEGA CD works. But you know, I bought this thing to have the entire system. I was super psyched about it. I mean, it looks cool now, I guess, but the 32X is not functional. Or at least it seems that way. What are we going to do about it? Well, here's what we can do about it. Well, the cartridge is reading, because I see the power is on. So it's reading the cartridge. So I can't test if there's any audio unless I put a game ROM on there. I thought I had it for a second. Yeah, it's reading from the cartridge. Alright, I'm not getting a video signal. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. I could just return the 32X in Genesis and try something different. Looks like the AV cables are alright. The arrow is over here. Both arrows are upright. You know what's weird? This guy only included one cable as well. In fact, no, he included two cables. This guy included two cables. I wonder why it's not working. What do the reflector plates have to do with anything at all? Because if I'm not getting a video signal at all, like, he says he tested it. Maybe he didn't plug in the video. Well, that's annoying. Here's what we could do. We're going to check out the other Genesis system really quick. We can basically just swap this Genesis system in there. We'll unplug the controller, plug this controller in. We're just doing a quick swap. And of course, we'll get rid of the plugs here. So this is just the Genesis that we're swapping in. collecting dust, of course. Well, everything worked perfect on that other system. It's the 32X that's the issue. Now, having just removed this Genesis, let's see. They got this metal plate underneath it. Oh man, that's unfortunate. So I can't see the details. Is that required? Like, all right. I can't see the year or the model number. Well, I'll have to do that another day. But, you know, I think I would just keep the one that it came with. In all honesty, if it works. What we're going to do now is just test this one Genesis to make sure it works. First, we'll try it with the 32X. Alright, so I plugged it in correctly. And I have this plug plugged in where my AC is. Okay. Let's see. Can we get it? No video. And everything is on. This also has a red LED. Okay. .32X yields no video. Just to be sure, we could try swapping the cable. I don't know. I'll try to place this cable one more time, just to troubleshoot it. Wow. And I had this machine back in the day, and I remember what a pain in the ass it used to be sometimes. Alright, let's try it again. Yeah, it's got no video. The cartridge is on. See, the cartridge has a red LED that comes on. The problem is the video signal. So if I go ahead and remove this EverDrive here, I remove this AV cable to plug in this into the Genesis. Now let's try it. So we'll remove the 32X, the Mega Drive cartridge from the 32X. We'll try this in Genesis. Let's see. Started right up. So apparently this Genesis unit works, the other Genesis unit works. Yeah, you know what? This is where the 32X was supposed to be. I mean, am I missing something here? The AV out goes there. Stupid. Anyway, so I'm getting frustrated here. We're going to try this one more time, but apparently this 32X does not have a video signal. Yep. And just to show how easily we can get a video signal, okay. One more time. One more time, then we're going to call it quits. Maybe there's a pin missing or something. Did I just get it? Okay, wait a second. So I think it's working. All right. Yep. How do you switch to SEGA CD then? All right. So it works. I was having trouble with that cable for some reason in the beginning. But, as I said, we're going to keep the one that came with the SEGA CD. You never know the year and model number on these things, but and we'll get rid of this controller for the time being. I believe this is the original plug as well. So there's a Genesis system here with a spacer. I don't think we need the spacer. I mean, so this is the one that we're going to sell. Any system is as good as the next. I mean, I don't know. They're both in about the same condition. I don't see any difference here. I can't see the serial number on this one. Oh well. We'll have to check it out later. We want to do one more final test just to make sure that all of our plugs and everything is working. we have to plug in the Genesis AV, and we have to plug in This is our final test for this video, by the way. The final test. All we want to do is we want this 32X and this Genesis system to work together. And we accomplished that. So the plug, the cable, the pin in the cable was just a little bit off, but it's fine now. That had nothing to do with the system. So everything works as advertised. The 32X doesn't have a dashboard, unfortunately. But this console is old school, very old school. And so now I don't have to return anything. I can just keep all of these. But this is going to be my system. This is going to be my Genesis 32X system right here. You can see it all, I think. There you have it. CD. And the 32X cart. So I'll just remove the phone from the pod real quick, and we'll get a final view of the setup here. This will make it easier. Let's see. Am I getting it? So the SD card not found. 32X SEGA CD Mega EverDrive working. Now I didn't test the sound, but I will after this video. I can test my Pearl Jam CD that I have in here. And it looks like a pretty fun system. Now, this Genesis here will be for sale on eBay, included with spacer. Did that spacer always come with the Sega Genesis? I guess it did. I don't know. That's weird. Anyway, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe. There will be another video very soon, so just make sure you watch out for that, and make sure to subscribe and comment. Alright, everybody, have a good day.